Welcome to the channel. Shocking photo of the world.
Jacqueline and John Kennedy cut the wedding cake at their ceremony in Newport, Rhode Island, September 12, 1953. Gertrude Edrell was the first woman to swim across the English Channel in 1926. Tightrope walker's wedding at a height of 20 meters. France, Toulouse, May 25, 1954. Former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson at age 22. March 1986. A man in an inflated high-altitude suit in a pressure chamber. The pressure corresponds to an altitude of 19 kilometers, and the water boils at body temperature. February 8, 1953. This mobile robot, created by Hughes Aircraft Electronic Labs, was intended for women who needed help getting dressed. California, 1961. Young Dutch mother with her baby in a wooden prom. Netherlands, 1929. Crown Prince Wilhelm of Germany in Prussia poses during an inspection of troops. 1915. In 1921, waitress Lillian Boyler was invited by customers to fly. On her first flight, she climbed onto the wing of an airplane. The V-shaped bed, invented in 1932, perfectly supports the body at every point, thereby promoting better rest. When not in use, the bed is straight, like any other bed. However, one pull of the chain on the side of the bed instantly changes it into a V shape. American serial killer Ted Bundy helps wash dishes after a birthday party. 1975. Opening ceremony of the first modern Olympic Games in Athens, Greece, April 6, 1896. Cicciolina, the star of adult films, at a meeting of the Italian Parliament. 17-year-old energy engineering student at Newcastle University Rowan Sebastian Atkinson, the future Mr. Bean, Great Britain, 1972. Count Henry de la Vaux in a shock-proof suit during tests of Victor Tatin's monoplane in November 1907. The Count himself became famous for his balloon flight when, on October 9, 1900, he and his companion set a distance record, covering 1,200 miles from Vincennes to Korostyshev near Kiev in 35.75 hours. The first passenger train in the USA, built in 1830, at the Railway Exhibition, Baltimore, USA. 1927. Bertha Benz was the wife of Carl Benz, a pioneer of German automobile manufacturing, and the first woman in the world to drive a car. 1888. Ewan McGregor and cinematographer Brian Tufano in Scotland's worst toilet on the set of Trainspotting. Gene Jansen, a famous bodybuilder of his time, and his wife Pat Jansen train with their 11-month-old son Kent. 1947. A theatrical performance to celebrate the centenary of the railway. Liverpool, Merseyside, UK, 1930. Presentation of the world's largest typewriter at the World's Fair in New York, USA. 1939-1940. The tallest recorded man in history edited downtown Warrensburg shortly before his death at age 22. 1940. Cats undergo a special training program at a French-based research laboratory in preparation for a flight. Paris, 1963. Dogs queue for more coca leaf extract for an experiment on its effects on the health and behavior of warm-blooded animals. Peru, 1950. A doctor adjusts a 2 million electron-volt X-ray machine for deep radiation therapy on cancer patients at Francis Delafield Hospital, New York City, USA. 1956. Snowmobile GMV2. Created in Orenburg in the 1970s. The assembly used parts of the IL-28 fuselage, UAZ-469 engine, GOZ-21 gearbox, UAZ rear axle, Jiguli steering and part of the GOZ-52 hood. The world's first motorcycle 1885 in 1885. German engineers Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm introduced the world to the first motorcycle, the Reitwagen riding car. This wooden vehicle, with a gasoline engine, developed an incredible speed for that time, -12 km/h. First digital camera, 1975. In 1975, Eastman Kodak engineer Stephen Sasson created the first digital camera, weighing about 4 kilograms. Although the device looked bulky and resembled a laboratory device, it became the prototype of modern digital cameras. The first computer mouse, 1964. Douglas Engelbart created a wooden box with 2 metal wheels, the first prototype of a modern computer mouse. No one could have imagined that half a century later, working on a computer would be unthinkable without this device. The first website and server, 1990. The first web page was created by Tim Berners-Lee at CERN in 1990. The humble page consisted of text and links, giving birth to the World Wide Web. Madame Marcella and her trained parrots performing at the Tivoli Circuit in Sydney, Australia, circa 1890. Hans Langseth holds the world record for the longest beard, measuring 5.33 meters. In 1967, a cut portion of Hans's beard was donated to the Smithsonian Institution's Department of Anthropology. Young Snowball, the only known albino gorilla, being examined by a veterinarian at the Barcelona Zoo in March 1967. Officially, Snowball was captured in Spanish Guinea by a hunter who kept the animal at his home for several days. The gorilla was then transported to Botta and sold to a local primatologist. Pancake races in Newport, UK, 1975. In the UK, pancake races are considered a traditional pastime, during which all those wishing to take part in the competition just overcome a distance by skillfully tossing a pancake in a frying pan. Extreme tree pruning before the invention of bucket lifts, late 1800s. Skier Doug Coombs descends a nearly vertical cool wall, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, 1989. Margaret Hamilton, lead software engineer for the Apollo project, stands next to code she wrote by hand. 1969. A buffalo-drawn wagon in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 1900. By the time this photo was taken, the number of bison in America had declined dramatically, with only about 300 remaining. At the end of the 18th century, their numbers were estimated at 30 to 60 million. Italian tightrope walker Maria Spelterini, sometimes spelled Spelterina, crosses the Niagara River Gorge while a tightrope with 2 baskets of peaches on her feet. July 1876. In 1876, she demonstrated incredible skill by crossing Niagara Falls on a tightrope. The FBI arrests a protester against the draft in Vietnam. Philadelphia, 1969. Hopi woman, 1890. The traditional squash blossom curl hairstyle was popular among unmarried Hopi girls. The style symbolized their status and youth and reflected the cultural traditions of the people. A European moving in a hammock. Alada, Benin, 1895. At the end of the 19th century, Africa was heavily influenced by European powers. Europeans often used the local population to do various jobs, including moving them in hammocks, a convenient means of transportation in hot climates. Cleopatra's Needle in Alexandria, Egypt, circa 1870. Cleopatra's Needle now stands flanked by 2 sphinxes in the historic centre of London, on the Victoria Embankment. 2 men are photographed working at the Thames Docks, London, 1877. In 1877, Scottish photographer John Thompson and journalist Adolphe Smith collaborated on a book called Street Life in London. The project was a pioneering attempt at social documentary photography, aimed at showing the real living conditions of London's poor. Leopold E. 1835 to 1909, King of the Belgians, in Nice, France, 1900. Leopold E., King of Belgium from 1865, is known as one of the most controversial figures in the history of Europe and Africa. His activities as monarch were marked by progressive reforms within the country. Bathing elephants, India, 1862. He was an East Indian tea merchant, an indigo plantation owner, and an avid amateur photographer. Samuel Pierpont Langley's bolometer, or coelostat with equatorial photographic chamber, installed at the camp of the American mission, sent by the Smithsonian Institution to observe a solar eclipse. Wadesboro, North Carolina, 1900.